It's like I can't be erased or stopped. You know, no one is above the law. But because we pursued it so much, like, reckoning and judgment, you know, where does, like, justice come from, or retribution, or avenging, or revenge, or persecution? You know, there is a higher law. And I like reading the Bible, and reading about this judgment thing. So, because of what I was born into, this stuff really started happening 22 years later. In 2022, like, stuff started to, like, crash, and break and drop, and, like, shift and alter, and, like, there's a lot of chaos, and it's like, I suppose people aren't made to, like, remember what they've been through, and that's kind of a scary thing. So, there is something about, oh, that's what it is. Like, you should only threaten time against someone if that person threatens something equally as serious. If, like, you're an adult for, like, 6 to 7 years, according to, like, regular cultural standard, or in my instance, in case I've been alive for 2 decades, two and a half decades, just about. You know, what's stopping something, knowing not even Trump is above the law? Like, you know, it's a clemency thing. It's a executive privilege thing, where it's incorrect if you're immune because people fear you. That's not correct. It can be utilized, but it doesn't make sense to me, where all of a sudden, if you're in a presidential position, you can do anything. It's like, not exactly. Like, all of a sudden you're immune from it all. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me. So all I'm doing is weighing in the variables and designations. I don't have an agenda. It's not about, like, corruption or being outspoken or speaking out. It's not about trying to save anything. All I'm doing is laying down the framework that this world needs to be sourced. And that's exactly what it's about. If I do something 5 to 7 years, and I'm out of time, like I'm out of the time construct. It's timeless. It's infinite. It's like the fact of the matter is, like, the irrefutable fact, whether or not it's the right thing to do or you like it or not, like, there's always going to be a trouble variable. You can't escape that. Otherwise, Trump wouldn't be impeached twice, have his children deposed or subpoenaed or asked to appear, voluntarily, involuntarily. Trump is a shining example of, okay, he can make America great, or, everyone loves him now, or, respects him, but it's a perfect example of how he was not above the law. Like, so that's kind of the dichotomy that you're playing with. He was impeached twice. It's just funny to me, y'all. Like, this is just funny to me. When you live in a tower in like Manhattan, New York or whatever, and like you have no clue what it's like in these different worlds, and then the stuff that people say on social media, like put Ivanka Trump in jail, or like you wouldn't begin to imagine how like regular people view this family right here, over there. And all I'm trying to do is like be rational and like fair, and just say what I need to say, and play the equalizer, or the mediator, and just be realistic. Between people, and like, so it's like I'm not delusional, I'm not irrational, I'm not like crazy, I'm not like dependent or poor. I'm just being realistic. I just think it's funny. Like, they have no clue, like, how much people hate them. Like, being told to, like, lock them up or whatever. So, that's my problem. I worked this hard, I suffered this much, And it's like, I would like probably rather die than like answer to that legal nonsense. Because like, how do you quantify? But it's gonna be there, but it's like, it's ridiculous type of legal threat. And people play around with that. On my part, executively, I don't play around with that. And the movies, the ads, the commercials saying this and that, that's just their perspective that they could closely get to. You know, it's not 100% accurate, but I never agreed. I never accepted that notion. I never agreed to anything. I never consented to anything. I never went with something that said, this is the way things are. I never went with the crowd trying to tell me, like, how they perceive, like, truth. You know, I never agreed to anything. So it's that majorly, like, 5-7 year thing. And then people trying to cut that off. It's like, that's kind of what keeps me up in the morning. And then at night, it's just like, things don't really bother me. But, wrapping up, I think that's what needs to be said and sourced out. It's not about bait or discipline or waiting on storms. It's not about bait. It's not about me waiting. It's not about what I'm doing. It's repeatedly expressing the point that we have done so much, and then so many people have done nothing. Like, palms up or palms closed. Like, I worked so hard that it's actually like mathematically scaled more invincible than presidential executive power. That's a fact or a truth. How hard or my people, and people don't even know what that means. Like, it's not a gang. It's not an institution. I hope people realize, like, when I say us, it's not a separate elitist ideology that excludes everyone. Actually, I am, like, the people. I am, like, 7 stadiums. Like, that's actually, well, the point of, like, when I say us, we. It's not a narrowed, like, no. So, the hard work, and I really wonder, okay, we've said this time and time again to the point of extremes, It's time to stop. It's time to change. Okay, then change. You do that. Or you just go with the program and this standard thing that works. But let me tell you something. It's not working. It's not going to work.
It's 12:45 p.m.
It's all going to
12:45.
Oh, 12:45. Okay.
Or limit past from sustainability. So, that's my whole failure umbrella. That's my Tupac. That's my Michael Jackson. That's my Eminem. That's like my Bourdain, Chester, Biggie. You name it. That's my version. It's actually not very much threatening. It's just intellectual challenge. Maybe the gift let me have that work for some decades for the rest of my life, but there's always costs. I wouldn't know. I just know that I'm not like anyone else, and the way that I perceive things 9 times out of 10 is the most truthful perception. Like the things that I'm experiencing are more real than most people's perceptions. So whatever that means, that's how I would go quote unquote down. But that's the whole kind of point for sharpening your tool or weapon. Everyone wants to survive. You're going to have to use an edge. What's going to save you in hunting? What's going to save you? Only thing that's going to save you is like offensive reach. Not exactly complete defense. That's just the way it is. Just as how we are. It's our mentality. You're not going to make it if you don't have like, people call swords, but I don't call swords. I make my own sword. You want to take it back recipe? I mean, I suppose, because that's how we've been for a long time. It's not going to stop. So it's very easy to shell up and defend yourself completely. But these are very foolish things. Only caring about yourself, not caring or not listening, I could do that. I've done it a lot. Just exclude it all and only care about myself. Because who truly cares as much as I do, world? Is it going to be that one black entrepreneur in Georgia or Florida? Is that who's going to care for you? Is that actually who's looking out for your best interests? So it's this sword thing. I have a nice sword edge that could it could cut through anything. And then defense, but I'm just not that selfish. I have good judgment. could literally, if I wanted to, anything that's trying to stop me, I could just stop that. But it's kind of the fool's way. So, in adherence, out of goodwill, I ask again to the world, and the source things, I ask, in my frustration of trying to channel this through something, like, no, I just let it go. I can't tell you make this front line. I can't tell you make this headline. I can't tell you to classify things. All I can do is put my truth and my perspective on a recording and hope for the best. Hope it touches a lot of things. Hope it affects things. Hope it shifts things. And in that release of hope and faith, that's what's going to make it extremely powerful, as usual. Very powerful. Touching a lot of people. That's how words were supposed to be used, especially in my instance as a source. That's how words are supposed to wield power. So, in conclusion, you're like in an enlightened period. And the truth of this, I don't even know if I have enough time. But it seems when extreme things happen, that's when we become the most unified. I just don't have really much time to speak on the insurrection, but it was fun. It awakened people and made people feel like, just like protests, like all this chaos makes for an interesting reality to stop the menial corporate slavery. That's just not how I live. But I don't live on adrenaline rushes and parties. So that's just me, folks. That's the truth. All I can do is sit back and then, go back to my my drawing board, trying to make calls and pay bills. But really, like, where's that gonna get me? Maybe there's just not much you could, that's what, there are brick walls and limits to that life. But this life and world, this thing that I'm doing, that I'm choosing to elaborate on, that I have a lot of experience in, this is limitless. Outside has limits, but this world is limitless. It's all choice, balance, pros, cons. Something about this January 6th thing. Something about this. Something corrupt. But I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. After everything, I'm still here. Still here. After all of everything, I'm still here. So, if I could try and be thankful, I would be thankful in prayer with what I have said. If I wanted to be appreciative, or righteous or good or of service, and to not be a fool, to respect commandments and the religious teachings. This is the best that I could do. This is who I am. It's very, there's something about me, it sounds very correct, very balanced, not over the top. Just enough punch, just enough kick, just enough retention, just enough discipline and holding back, just enough. Because I'm perfect, doubt me. Where shadow force isn't, shadow power isn't whole power. So all I can do is sit back. I don't forget. You know, my thoughts stream and everything. Like, all I can do is sit back, and I'm still here. So then I have to help about this corruption. Oh, but what about California again? World? Something about this. Tell lies or live a lie. I'll live a lie. It always comes back to this truth-lie thing. But like 99.9% of the time, whatever it is like there's something called like actual like truth. Like just truth on all accounts, truth on all accords, truth on every basis. Any side is just complete, utter truth. We reinvented this with this word and standard. It's kind of the new thing, you know, like old way, like